Hi, y'all.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the New Normal Exploring Infinite Possibilities. I'm Renata.
And I'm William, and I'm deep in trying to understand what is the new norm.
I know. we were just having a really deep conversation about moving between the different worlds that we've got going on here. You know, the heavy, dense, kind of like more fear energy we got. And then, you know, our evolutionary movement, which is forward, more love, more joy, more laughter. Yeah, it's a hard place to be right now. So, title of the show: Spin Your Magic So Everybody Will Want to Play. It's kind of a long title, but yeah,
And everyone will play in a different way.
yes. But everybody's got magic. That's the point.
Ah.
Everybody has magic. The magic is actually you. You know, and how you process things.
And getting involved not just mentally, getting involved with how your muscles are talking, how your glands are talking. Mm-hmm. And they do.
And they do, yeah. We were talking about how things are separate, but then how things are the same. Like we were talking about natures. Trees. We said the birds do it, the bees do it. They hang out together. Trees hang out together. Birds and bees fly together. You know, us humans do the same thing. We do, but we forget about the power that we have collectively. That's some of the magic.
The collective
That's
has
some of the
been
magic.
denied.
It's been squashed a little bit, you know.
And we squash it ourselves.
We do.
Because, like, I went to an event recently, and it was a gathering of what was a specific religion. And I thought, oh, well, it's all set up by that religion. When actually, it was their personal choices to be there, but other people from other religions were invited, but because they weren't that religion, they didn't go.
Yeah, it might have been they chose not to take up on it because they felt a little bit odd. I mean, there's always two sides to the equation, isn't there?
Or seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of it's just gray. You know, and gray's not a bad color. It comes in a bunch of different shades, you know.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, you know, and you can blend it up with a lot of things from the darkest to the lightest. So gray's cool. But you know, a lot of life is that gray, and it doesn't mean that gray is going to go away as we choose, you know?
You said something very important there. A lot of people recently have included in their conversations with me, how do you make a new choice? And most highly intelligent people that said that didn't realize they know all of the tool. They just don't realize they know it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that using that word magic. Do you believe in magic? You know, there's that song, and like, I'll raise my hand. I believe in magic now, but it's like those small little things at first, and then you know some of them are bigger things. But just recognizing the importance of being able to bring that magic to your door in really small ways, like you woke up this morning. You know, that's kind of a trite when you made the assumption that you're going to breathe. And so you breathe, and you're alive, and your heart's beating, and you took another breath, and then you had to go to the bathroom, you got a shower, you know, and then things just start to roll, don't they? And pretty soon you're up, and you're talking to people, and, you know, eating your breakfast or lunch or whatever, you know. And then your day happens, and then your day's done. Then you do it again. It's the magic of the everyday stuff. Those small little things that puff us up, that fluff us up, that give us a really nice, I mean like a solid base, kind of like a cement base, you know, to stand from, because we really do have to stand for how we be living. I didn't say how we believe, because beliefs, we know, like religious beliefs, cultural beliefs, those can drown you. But how you be living, that's how I say believe. How you be living your life now is the magic, and it's the insulator for all the stuff that comes at you.
I don't think I quite got that.
Okay. Well, you certainly know that. whether you got it or not. I always look at you at 81, and the idea that you could have been not around a long, long time ago just by other people saying, well, he's got this much time. Those they people. 20 years later, you're still here, and those they people, we don't know where they are.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, you had the ability to internalize all the goodness that you wanted for the world. You first put it upon yourself, and now you do. You use that goodness for you, and there's more of you that's around for people to listen to talk to. But you could have listened to they and not been here, and that would have been a sad thing.
In my own way, I encourage people to get to know who you are.
Yes.
Get to know not what you were taught, but what do you know about yourself? What interests do you have? What excitement do you have? And part of your excitement is discover what your talents are, your interests. It doesn't mean you have to be an example, a brilliant painter. But if you love painting, throw paint around, splash paint around, just have fun with it.
Yeah, don't deny yourself. Go
Yeah.
buy some paints, and dollar store has great stuff. You don't have to even invest a lot, huh? I love Hulda's mandala books. Hulda Martin's mandala books. Yeah,
I use them
know.
a lot. I love them.
I do too. They're fun. And when I just want to get into a space of no space, new space.
And one of the things that I do when I feel lonely or I'm not sure where to go, I've let an image of one of her mandalas flow into me, around me, and through me, and everything shifts.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing about we get so focused on what's out here, like proof, or want to see what it is to make it be tangible, that we forget that started way inside here.
Inside.
And yeah. So it's like go back inside to connect with the source of all that stuff that you actually see that it's manifested out here over time.
Because all of you out there, when you were children, and one day you were, what you did for excitement, for joy, as you got older, typically we drop those away. Now, bring those back into your consciousness. Let them flow. You'll do it in a different way, but those things that were joyful for you, you can use them today, just in a different way.
I mean, you can borrow benefits from just about anything.
Oh, yes.
You shared a story with me about one of your clients you were working with. Can I just share that bit about that?
Sure.
And you said to the person, I've worked with you for a while, and you just never crack a smile. You just never laugh. And then you said, and I don't want to work with you anymore if you don't laugh. And then he immediately started cracking up. I can see that whole dialogue, knowing you and not knowing the other person, but I can just see that whole thing in my mind's eye. So next time I work with a difficult client that's having a challenge embracing that they can change, I'll just pull that up in my mind's eye while I'm looking at them or talking.
Because what he did was laughed because it was a whole concept that he's heard over and over again, but never got it.
Yeah.
And so often that happens to all of us.
I know.
We don't get it. And a lot of that problem is people use too many words. Because of our huge intelligence level, not mine, but most people have it, they try so hard to prove how knowledgeable they are that they forget to allow everyone their level. And that is what creates, in his case, not smiling.
And then there is that thing of just being able to listen and being present. So sometimes you're so
Yes.
busy. I know I can be busy thinking about my thoughts or whatever, and then miss, And so there's that another magical tool, like, oh, I missed that. Would you say that again?
And will you say it again?
Uh-huh.
And then tomorrow, will you say it again?
It's a magical tool, though, because you might miss something, or the interaction could have been anyhow. Yeah. So listening's a good tool.
And don't listen just according to what you think you're hearing.
Yeah.
Listen according to what your perceptions, your five senses, tell you the other participant was trying to say. Because often when I'm talking to highly intelligent people, I was talking to one on Skype the other day, and I finally said, don't use so many words, just 2 or 3 words that convey your feeling. The individual had no idea what to say, because everything had to be about words. Everything had to be about, she was also female, but she had to prove how brilliant she is, and one of the most intelligent people I've ever known, and one of the most limited, because she doesn't know how to have fun.
And fun is not so much always an activity.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, it can be, because, roller coaster's
sure.
fun. Kinda. But it is really it's a connection.
And my head went in a totally different direction.
Oh, about roller coaster. Oh. I mean, even just sitting in having a conversation, and then you look at people like, oh, you went, oh, really? You did? And then you didn't even say anything, but you're all catching.
Yeah.
Like our little gathering we had last Thursday. There was some interesting, fun, synchronistic, interesting. I'm laughing because there's some great stuff that happened.
And all of us didn't agree, but we were having so much fun, we didn't turn anything into conflict.
No, we just all sat there and even I had bought those saying love in a bunch of different language
Yes.
cards. I thought those would be fun. Those were a bomb. Yeah.
Because what is fun is different for everyone.
Yeah.
But the point of that last Thursday was that everyone, and we had a couple of people that are inclined to think only of themselves. And suddenly, they were just having so much fun that they included everyone.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're having another one.
And June, so it'd be the 24th. I think it's the 24th, June 24th, which would be that last Thursday of the
Or
month.
maybe it's a different date, but it's the last Thursday.
The last Thursday of the month. Yeah, you got your calendar there.
Yes, I'm going to check.
And one of the fun things was Max did send us a little. Max was amazing. He did send a draft of the video, which is it was like an hour and.
You were right, 24.
Okay, an hour and 12 minutes, so it was kind of long. So at the board meeting, we can kind of talk about what we want to do, if get snippets from that, or post the whole thing. So you weren't, if you can't make it, you'll be able to see it. We're just kind of in the midst of figuring out how to do all that. So a lot of it's on Max.
And the point is, if you want to break away from the fear of the last year and a half,
Yes.
come to our event. Go to others or create your own.
We were encouraging people to do that because the Cocina Mexicana restaurants, I keep wanting to do that, Cocina Mexicana restaurant is really open to other groups coming in and doing little things there.
Or have a backyard party.
Backyard party, house party.
Invite your neighbors. Get to know your neighbors. This that we're doing is to help you realize you can do anything you want.
It's all about that choice thing, and while it
Thank you.
still feels really heavy and some of the choices that we are used to are no longer there, but check this out. This is a magical tool as well. Shift your perspective just a little bit. Shift your perspective on the inside. Say it a different way. Look at it a different way. Allow something else to anchor that feels better. Allow something that feels better.
One of the books I wrote maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, a friend of mine in Japan had read the book and really didn't get it.
Uh-huh.
And now, with all of the changes going on, she read it again, and it was like she had never read it before. And she said, I have an understanding of who I am that I never had before. And so it's like everything is changeable. You just have to allow it. Do things that you've never done before. I had said, that was one of her big things. I said, you know, what you have never done, do it one time at least. Because it will shift something inside of you. And she realized. And so she went out doing things that she never considered. And so she asked her friends, what do you do for fun? And she said to one, I would never do that. So she put it on her schedule and did it.
Okay, good for that.
And got a whole new perspective of all life. So play, gang.
One thing changes, everything changes.
Everything changes.
Like the
Because
ripple in the pond.
on the way over here in the automobile, you said the answer to everything. And now I forget what it was. See how valuable it was? Don't even remember.
IDM. I mean, the biggest thing now is like, be really easy on yourself and let some of your magic float you. Like a magic carpet. It's kind of like a magic carpet we got.
Okay, that stimulates. Being easy on other people is easy. Being easy on yourself
It's not always.
is not easy.
Wow, we get the lash out, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Could have done that better. You can always up level everything. But if you don't ever get in the game, you have no successes.
So do things you've never done. Play in ways you've never played. Observe your neighbors, your friends, and realize they are signals to you. It's time to integrate. It's time to associate. It's time to have fun. Doesn't mean giving up your career. It doesn't mean giving up anything you believe in. It means adding to it.
Well, but now I'm going to add to that because you know what? When you are courageous enough to, shift, don't count on that you're not going to want to give up your job or move or do.
Oh, true.
I'm just saying, like
True.
do allow that everything underneath you will shift, but also know that you will land on your 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It doesn't mean you're going to be out. It just means you're going to up level. That's what I mean by up level. You're going to get rid of the old, and something more better is going to show up.
I have a friend in San Diego, California, and he knew that his company was closing in San Diego, but that he was welcome to go to a different location. He told his wife and his kids, and they all said, no. And he remembered our conversation, and he said to them, okay, I'm going someplace. You can come with me, or you can stay here. But I'm not sending you any money.
What'd they do?
They packed up and moved with him.
Good.
So give people choice, but they will choose if you allow them. He was going to end his career to please them. So he said, I'm doing this. You're welcome to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can all work together. So that's a message for all of us.
And it sounds like he got to the point, they call it soul searching.
Perfect.
He went inside and kind of thought, well, where am I really with this?
Mm-hmm.
What's on the table here?
Exactly.
What's on the table? And no, this is a bottom line thing. We all have some of those bottom line things. I guess part of the magic is finding what your bottom line is. Find what you want to stand for, as well as what you want to stand on.
And the important thing, I believe, he went to the president of the corporation and said, yeah, I'm moving me and my family, and I don't care where it is. You choose where you want me to go,
We're going.
and we're going. And if I don't like it, then I will
You can
choose
come
to go
with me,
someplace else.
moving me and my family,
Excuse
What are you
me.
doing?
and I don't care where it is.
Excuse me, get out.
You choose
Okay.
where you want me to go.
Pardon
we're
me.
going. And we're going. And
There's some of my inability to handle some of the stuff. It's all good. If people commented, I want to catch them. Can't chew
First thing I
gum.
did when we walked in here is I turned off my telephone because I don't know. I cannot function well with dual responsibility.
Apparently, I'm not doing so great today either. It's like, nonetheless. But you know what? You just kind of roll with it. You all know us. You've been hanging out with us for the last year or so. I mean, we don't have many pretense. Maybe we should have some pretense. Pretend like we're professional. But
Well,
you know
if
we
you
are.
really get to know us, you'll know that we can be very focused.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
To the point of being stern and not very much fun. So, there you go.
And one of the good things about knowing other people is if one is too serious, you can shift the energy. I had a client in Osaka, Japan, and what she did is visualized in her brain animals playing. And she went into the business meetings and just had that functioning in the back of her brain. And the fighting stopped, and the people started talking to each other and listening.
Right, and we were sharing stories about that. I
Yes.
said when I first heard about not paying attention to how something looks and just creating, imagining, and they said to me, it doesn't have to be a current event. It could be an event that happened a long time ago.
Exactly.
When you were a little kid, did you have lots of laughter and fun? Pull that up when you feel like you need to give yourself an energy boost or goose.
When I go walking in the forest, and I still do it, I remember when I was a kid, every time I'd go out into the forest in our backyard, we had a huge backyard, a few hundred acres, and there was a crow that would always come and ride on my shoulder. And so when I go to the forest now, I remember that image, and animals and birds, wild, they come up to me because there's a crow on my shoulder that's not really there. But the image, the vibration, oh, that's the point earlier. Everything is energy.
Oh yeah, everything.
That's what you had said.
Yeah, and everything is energy, and you say that
Everything
all
is
the time
energy.
too. And we were just talking about how that nothing's excluded from that. We've just
Nothing.
been taught, for instance, that our health is excluded from that energy
Yes,
component, and actually our temple, which is our body, is under complete 1,000% command of us.
Something that Renata and her husband George know about me that none of you do. My left leg, I don't feel anything. And so professionals have said, you can't walk. But I have the images in my consciousness of when I could walk. And so unless I'm interrupted and let verbally a certain kind of music that interrupts me, and then I'll stagger or fall down. But my muscles take that memory and say, if I could do it before, I can do it now. And so all of you, if you have any kind of physical or mental situation, if you ever functioned, that memory is there, let that part of your brain replay it, and your muscles will respond.
Absolutely, muscle memory is a real thing. Like you've heard of people have heard of the phantom limb thing.
I love it.
If someone gets a limb cut off and they still feel like they got that, well, you still energetically have that body part.
Exactly.
That's what you got. So another magic tool that I think is really important is like you talk to your body. That's a really important one.
And listen to your body.
And talk to yourself, talk to yourself, talk to your
Yep,
body.
yep.
And say thank you. Like, thank you for working, thank you for not working, thank you for having me fall, thank you for having me stand up. All of those things are communication with yourself.
And this is one area that I think we disagree on, but we might not, but I think we do. All of that talking drove that thought right out of my head.
idea.
Whatever.
It'll come back though. That's why I kind of take little notes here too with you and I, because we're just extemporaneous off the top of our heads and heart.
Oh yeah, we don't have a script here.
We have
don't
a
do
jet.
script.
We have a jet. We talk on the way to the show because we get about a half hour in the car together. And this week, usually I see you a couple times between show and other things. We did the
We
thing
haven't this week.
No, it's been 5 days. I'm going through withdrawal.
Yeah. Well, and because of the new weather pattern, I've been out and playing with neighbors, their dogs, and a friend of mine in the building I live in, new friend, her dog knows my apartment number. And when they can't find him, he snuck out of their apartment to come down and sit at my door until I open it.
I tell you,
Rocky.
you're the dog whisperer. Oh, and let's do a little intro on the website, the Tula website, the universallifealliance.org, because I noticed that the dog rescue is up under your blog.
Oh, it's finally up.
Malama Lama Canine. Did I say
Good.
it right?
My kid.
Did I say it right?
Yes.
Say it again, sir, because sometimes.
Malama Lama K9.
Okay, I did say it right. Malama Lama Canine. So there's a picture of Keith with some of the dogs.
Oh, because when last I looked, it wasn't up yet.
She just got it up yesterday.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's good. And if that feels good to your heart when you go to our site and you see that on William's blog, in terms of donations, you can do that.
Because what Keith does, my partner Ruth, she and I started the foundation years and years ago. We rescue animals that have been injured in automobile accidents, physical abuse, and we get them all repaired physically, emotionally, and then adopt them out. So we have dogs in Japan, we have them in Mexico, Canada, and parts of the United States. And thankfully, the universe appreciates the work we've done. And so even when we wonder where the next penny's coming from, suddenly it arrives. So if any of you feel like helping dogs, injured animals,
That's a
check
good,
us out.
and it's a 501c3 too as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's tax deductible donations. There we go. Yeah. So self-talk, and then I wrote down nature talk because that's a magical tool
Oh,
too.
yes, yes.
We have a little on the deck. There's a water fountain, and the little birds have been coming up and to drink. I mean, they're the little teeny ones, so they just come fly, and they sit there and they look. It's got like a little waterfall, so they like sit there and drink, and they fly off.
Yeah, and on
Great.
my deck, it's building into a little garden.
I know you've got those big plants. The sun has just done wonders, hasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Just let's have some more sun.
We had one Russian sage that I knew it was dead. It didn't survive the winter. George knew it was dead. It didn't survive. And it is growing like a wildfire. It is incredible.
Growing like a wildfire. Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
so that's part of joy. If you ever visit George and Renata's home, it stimulates you to have joy. It's full of flowers and the wild animals. I've seen deer in their backyard.
Yeah, and one day I came home and there was like 2 deer in the driveway. I had to stop and make sure I didn't run over them. So yeah, it's kind of cool that we're all in harmony together. That's what that says now. We encroached upon their land.
And George and Renata don't live in the country. They live in Lakewood.
Yeah. But our little area is kind of unique with all that,
Oh, yeah, but your piece
the
of
green
that,
belt and all that behind
yeah,
us.
but it's also your land is earth magic.
I'll take it. You
Yeah,
bet. It is. I mean, I was being out and about in the world is like, okay, it's a little tough out there. It feels dense and heavy being out and
And I've known people who are uncomfortable at that place because that energy is so unique to them that they were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I've known people that they would give $1 billion if they could just go and visit.
True story, William.
It's wonderful.
And all of us make our surroundings, whether we do it consciously or unconsciously. And we're just encouraging you to say that the magic nowadays is found more consciously, which means that you make a choice.
And make your own magic. Don't think, well, this will fit the neighborhood. Oh, this will please the city or the county. That doesn't matter. Make your magic. Make it your pleasure. And those of similar energy are going to start knocking on your door.
Absolutely, it's called resonance.
Yep.
And at the event, there was a not a new person, but I got to hear her talk, Susie.
Oh, yes.
Who had several things happen, and she woke up with several gifts. And one of them is she does an animal communicator. So
Right.
on the video, we got her talking and sharing some of the things that she does. And I didn't catch the name of the one where the blinders for the blinders on the ears. Was it blinders? It was called. And then it just, when you've been around for a while doing things, all things kind of come together. And I'm like, oh, well, that's part of that fight or flight, kind of clearing that fight or
Yes.
flight. Those are Chinese meridians for fight or flight. I'm just saying, you know, it's interesting. All that stuff.
You know, that brings up my son Keith. He has one dog that was terrified of people, terrified of sounds, and in our current world, they call it PTS.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome, yeah.
Right.
PS.
And this
whatever.
dog, with the kind of energy healing that Keith uses, the dog is not afraid of thunder anymore. When the volcano tried to eat the whole
Yeah.
city, the
It stopped.
volcano lava stopped just as it hit our building, our house.
So we
Is that
do.
amazing?
We do communicate with the weather patterns.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when I learned that a long time ago, that you could summon rain and all those kinds of things.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. But like, no, that's really true. So we're saying own your magic, even if it's unfamiliar to you.
Yes.
Your presence is really the present to this planet. I mean, we pointed out we had a larger group than we had last time at our event, double actually,
Yeah.
and we moved ahead a lot faster. Max actually taped the whole thing, and we had he sent me the draft, and there was like little vignettes. I'm like, oh, we got a little professional crew here, and there's just a few of us doing this. I'm like, dang, don't let us really focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Max she mentions is the one that's recording right now, doing all of this. He's not quite 18 yet, and he's like a magic man.
And young people are very interesting now. While they still pay attention to their elders and they have respect, we get that about you, Max. And all of that. But then there is this heart connection where they just step up and show by their actions what they really want to do.
Actions.
They're not like real passive, even though maybe they're kind of quiet. I'd say you're kind of a quiet person, Max. But in our communications, I get that you stepped up and said, "No, I'm good. I like doing this."
At the restaurant the other day, no one told him, take your camera and go over there.
No,
He
no.
just does it. He goes.
Right.
He knows, take a different angle. And that kind of instinct, many young people have it much more than many adults.
And they don't get the opportunities to really see, how magical that skill is. How it can be applied in many different ways to take a different vantage point on life is really what he's learning.
And we old antiques, we have to be more appreciative and of the young people.
And know that the energy is spreading. So there was,
It spreads.
a powerful number of people there, 8 out of that 8. And it's like each person was like a light bulb for their community.
And they're all powerful people.
Yes, they all have their own tribe of people that follow them, that listen to them. And so that group that we had, that second group, was even more powerful than the first because they're going to go out in the community and share.
And I don't usually mention names on the air, But a friend of ours named Donna Sebo, who does a really fun radio show, spiritual psychic radio show, she was there. And she fit right in. She wasn't saying, I'm Donna Sebo. She was just Donna.
She
And
was
it was
just-
great.
She was just sharing. In fact, Donna had said something about magnesium, and we didn't have a chance to talk about it, but she stimulated me to go home and create a magnesium mineral spray for her. So I did a magnesium mineral spray. So it's
So
a
you
cool
see,
thing.
everything happens for a reason. Everything.
Yes, but it's like, it feels like such a big responsibility to have everything, you know.
And it's no longer a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We have the tools. If you need them, they're available. If you don't need them, they're still available to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so, back to the fact, on the 24th, come and play with us.
Right, and we've got several eclipses and all of that happening where the energy is fairly
Oh,
mutable
Lord,
and
yes.
hasn't happened in eons and eons of years. And even Doug Johnson was there, who
Oh, yes, yes.
he practices astrology fairly diligently. So as we gather this group of people, you know, Susie shared some good stuff. I shared some stuff.
George was really good.
Maybe we'll do that little snippet of George speaking, because he's not like he just doesn't do that. And all of a sudden, kind of surprised the heck out of me. Like, I've known that man for 33 years. It's like, okay.
I had never, I've known George maybe 17 years. I had never seen that side of him. It was wonderful.
I know. And it's just like, I mean, that's why I'm married to him. I do know that about him.
Well, what we do by breaking these barriers of social distancing, isolation, we're letting people shine their light.
Actually, and I saw after looking at the draft that Max sent me last night, I'm like, okay, I had my mic. We invested in, nice quality
Yes.
power packs and mics. We're serious about this. And I had my mic on when I went and ordered a beer and a shot of tequila. So, you know what to get me if you want to buy me a drink. A beer and a shot of tequila. But I'm like, oh, I didn't turn the mic off. None of us caught that. And then George was like standing up and he's like, well, it looks like I'm kind of nervous. I'm not, but next time I'll sit down. So it was a really good experiment with the new equipment, the whole thing.
Experiment,
There's no
yes.
way to put this together unless you
Do
play.
things you've never done before.
Well, none of us had ever done that before, so I think it was good for all of us. So we're
Oh,
ready for
yeah.
number 3. There you go, June 24th.
Yes. And so all we're trying to say today is do things you've never done. Play. Have fun. Laugh at yourself. I have a spirit friend who is always saying, we don't have radios and televisions and movie theaters in spirit world. If we're bored, we just watch you human beings.
So we can make things pretty complicated.
And funny.
And funny, and even funnier. I've got an image for you if you don't have one.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the Gerber baby. Do y'all remember the Gerber baby? Gerber baby saved the money for college.
Mm-hmm,
Gerber. Okay, good. And he has a little pointy thing on his head. Gerber baby. Okay. So George was cutting somebody's hair, and I walked around the corner, and then someone said to the client, "You look like the Gerber baby." I remembered the Gerber baby. Oh my gosh, I almost peed my pants. I can still remember the Gerber baby on that client. And you're kind of laughing too. So that's it. You're like, if you get it, you get it. Make up your own. So Dreamtime now is your friend, though.
Oh, yes.
Because you're
Go for it.
okay. So last night I had an interesting, like a water dream.
Ah.
I know, and I don't know how to swim. I'm a Pisces. I have a little bit of fear of water, but I've been saying, it's time to let that go, Renata. Really. And so I had that dream, and I kind of woke up going, "Wow. Well, you were embracing the fact that you didn't know how, and you were trusting someone, and then you did this whole." No, I can swim. I remember how to swim. I can swim.
And that's what you're always teaching people, saying, you can do anything. And so now, and you people chose it your way, but Renata needs to say, I didn't know how to swim. Now I know how.
I got over that fear.
And so the next time she falls in the water, and she will, she'll swim.
Yeah, either in my dream or in real life. It
No,
doesn't
in
matter.
real life, you're going to fall in the water. I just got that image. And you're smiling when you came to the surface.
Yeah. I
Because you were
remember.
also a mer person.
Yeah, well, that's why I like mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and then this morning when I lay there a little bit, going through that dream a little bit, then the mer woman came like, well, you know, mer people are with you. You wouldn't drown if it wasn't time for you to drown. You'd be fine.
Oh, yes, yes.
And then I remembered at Lake Chelan when we did strip poker, whatever. Out in the, like, you know, my friends like, oh, it will get you. No, really, there's nothing under there. You're only swimming on the top. They said,
Yeah.
and somehow that like, oh, that's right. I'm only on the top. Oh, and then I jumped in, and then I came back up. I remembered all those experiences with water as I was recalling my dream time because it was time to let that go.
And all of you, your dreams are on many different levels. Eventually, a workshop I do in Asia, I want to do here in America,
Oh,
which is the different levels of dreams.
that'd be fun.
And it's a little complicated, but it's fun. And we turn it into an opportunity of fun.
That is really needed. There doesn't seem to be a lot of people doing that kind of sharing nowadays. And it can't be an intellectual process, but
Because
dream
I
interpretation.
say in the workshop, don't interpret your dreams. Take notes of them. Realize some of them are prophetic, some of them are symbolic, and some of them are collective.
Yes.
Sharing with a person or a thing in another area, even inner earth.
That is probably an important point there, William, that it's a collective thing. So if it
Yes,
feels
yes,
a little
yes.
sorted and different and dumping and all of those, know that, it's not always about you.
Say it again.
Know that it's not always about
Exactly.
you. And that would be an important part of the dream time because it's easy to get into that three-dimensional intellectual, and this meant that, and this meant that, and this meant that. Like, no,
Oh,
not
yeah.
really.
And all of you, before you go to bed at night, say to your consciousness, not even with words, but feelings, that you're ready to be dealing with your life in dream time. And you might not remember it when you wake up, but you'll have known that you had a dream that was valid.
And you said that when you teach your class, you have people keep a dream journal.
Oh, yes, yes.
And even sometimes you said recently you've had a dream, but I don't remember what it was. I just wrote down dreamt, don't remember. Okay, good.
Exactly.
I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So I like this idea of always self-confirming, self-validating, and which
Self-validating.
equals self-love. It's like we don't need to make ourselves wrong because we came up with a different answer. What about both answers are right? Because they probably are.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's probably another answer in there too somewhere,
There's at least 200 people on our planet. And so there's at least 200 interpretations for every word.
Yeah, and English is like, really far removed from communication.
please.
So, I mean, a lot of foreigners that come over, it's amazing. They know their language, and then they are able to grasp English. And a lot of people that were born here in this country haven't been able to grasp English.
Yes.
So my hat's off to people that are multilingual. I'd love to be. I spoke German a little bit, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. I think I'm going to take Spanish, though.
I have a friend in Japan, and she travels all over the world. Her first name is Banana, and that cracks me up. Well, anyways, Banana doesn't speak many languages, but when she's in France, she speaks French. When she's in America, she speaks English.
Right, you can be conversational, and again, that's depending on all the senses. That's why it's so important. If someone's
Yep.
sad, you don't really have to have that word in their language. You can see it on their expression, and you can feel it in their body.
Exactly.
And that's where that intuition comes in for all of us. And you don't have to, showcase that necessarily, but do use that magical tool you have.
Exactly. And so recognize if you're a man, if you're a woman, it doesn't matter. You have available your 5 senses, dream time, telepathy, and respect for all life.
We were at the kids this weekend because they have a rental that they are tearing down and redoing, and so we helped with a couple of things. I was there more support because I'm not bending and doing all that as much as I used to.
Rattles.
And yes, and rattles. I did do that the first day, and then the second day. It was just adding support. Like there were many times we were laughing in the doorway or looking at something and more laughter. They had music on. I remember saying to Michael, it's like, all of this energy here is like just showing support for what you all are doing. It's your first rental and all that stuff. It's just really cool. And all the families showed up a little bit along those 2 days to, check out. So here's the interesting synchronicity. I make little tinctures. I'm making a rose water spray. I needed some more rose petals. If you go to the florist, they're hothouse roses. They don't smell. Bummer. So I'm driving around the last couple of weeks going, I know somebody's got to have some roses in their yard. I'm prepared to go knock on the door and say, can I have some? Show up at this event. Linda, who is the mother-in-law, one of them, and she has roses. She loves roses. She mentioned roses in her garden were overflowing. I'm like, excuse me? And I'm like, can I come over and get some rose petals? She's like, oh, Renata, you want rose petals? Yes. You want to go now? Well, no, we'll come over tomorrow. So we went over the next day, and she's like, I posted, there's so many rose bushes there. And she just like, you want this? You want this? I had a whole bag of roses, so I'm like, oh my gosh. And she says, so now on, Renata, I'll just have a little box for you, and when I cut them, I'll just cut them for you and call you. I'm like, talk about synchronistic hookup on the rose petals. I was just like, okay, there's a synchronicity. That was cool.
It is so important just to speak, create,
And let it
communication with everything.
and let it happen. And then at the very end of the day, when we're looking at the pictures I took, there was a spirit orb around that
Yes.
tree.
And the exciting thing is, she was communicating not only with her daughter-in-law,
Uh-huh.
okay, not only with the daughter-in-law, but with the roses there. And the roses were saying, oh, thank God we're finally going to be used.
That was pretty much it.
Exactly.
And I love how you shared. I was sharing with you about the, I get all excited, about the spirit orb because we hadn't seen it, And then you're like, well, that's just the universe's way of telling you thank you for appreciating me, nature, and making a
Exactly.
connection. And that made so much sense. Like, oh, yeah, that's
We
really
have
the
to
new way.
take the complication out of living. Life is not as complicated as we've been led to believe.
No, but if you are squashed a little bit or a
And
lot
squished.
and squished, I know, and it's not a good sandwich, then it can be really frustrating to be on this planet. Really frustrating because it feels like there's somebody always holding something over your head, like you're not there quite yet.
Can you imagine being a tree and thinking, one day that somebody's going to come with a saw and knock me down? Oh, you go old.
Yeah, and then not really appreciate me at all.
Yeah.
That's all interesting stuff. It really is. I didn't know I was such a nature girl. I mean, I even took the pine tree. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And there was a pine tree, so I thought, well, you know what? I can use that for smudging. So I took it home to dry it. And then there's little sap on the trunk, right? And I squished it like, oh, that's that turpentine coming out of there. How cool is that? And I did it a few times, and I just laid my hand on it. I could feel it speaking to me.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
like, oh my gosh, that's the
five
energy of the
senses,
tree.
yeah.
And I did it again, like, oh, that's a tree communicating. How cool is that? I spent the whole day kind of looking at the trees and talking to them, and it's all good.
Life, and you can still have your career, you can still have your families. You don't have to give up anything. You're expanding to new levels.
Expanding, so you're just being more inclusive. Like inclusivity will be just a natural thing.
Yes.
Well, you want to come? Come on. You would
Come
just
play with
naturally
us.
have that say out of your mouth. And you would have that energy. People would want to be around you.
Yep.
They want to hang around you. So notice that. The example we gave at the little gathering was like, how many of you go stand in line and there's nobody in the store in the line, and then within a few seconds, you turn around and the store is full, of the line is like, there's all those people. Where'd they
Yep.
come from? Everything is energy. They're following your energy. They'll follow you for miles, for years. for decades.
Long time ago in Hawaii, I remember clearly Ruth, my partner, saying, I have to go in that store and I have to be quick. Don't you go in. You're going to get a lot of people in there. So I sit in the car.
Don't you go in. The people are going to follow you. I just want to go in, hurry up, and get out.
Yep.
That's good she knew that about you.
Oh, yeah.
But, all of you check that out now because it's going to be more intense.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit dark out there still, and people need to
Tell
see.
me about it. Yes.
And are a lot of you noticing sometimes when you go outside of your own domain how it feels a little heavy? Like maybe you're walking through something. There's nothing there, but it just feels a little bit not as light and floaty.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the important thing is break the barrier of the last 2 years of saying be isolated, be hidden, be separated. The human being is not built for separation and isolation.
No.
Start getting out again.
Yep. And just in small groups, it's fine. And
Sure.
even imagining yourself, getting together with the group that you really, maybe you have to travel a little bit and there's not the resources to travel. But you can gather that energetic, community
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely.
And you can get in the phone and call some people. You can
Yep.
write, I love snail mail. You can write some little old school cards to people.
And what I do is I wait until I know people are at work or out shopping, and then I call and leave a message saying, just thinking of you. And so instead of getting messages of, you owe me this money, this, they get, hi, I love you. There's little things you can do to give people a good spiritual hug.
Yes, and I picked up an idea from someone I was following a little bit about sending energy out. We talked about that last time. But then it was like sending energy out for the new world. She added that part on it, the new earth.
Oh,
And I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
oh, I like that one. So send out your gratitude, love, and joy to build a new solid base for the new earth that we're creating day by day, moment by moment.
And just because someone else is creating their part of the world, it doesn't mean it's less or better than yours. Create using the concept of we're all doing this, collaborating, and then everyone has choice. Where to live, how to play.
We're building the new collective consciousness now. That's really what's happening. And so her idea was, I love our sun deck upstairs and all the flowers and plants that George plants. I just enjoy that. And I stopped for a moment and thought, wow, I really am grateful for that. That's nice. I intend for everybody to feel that. And
In their own way.
yeah, and I thought, oh, that's really powerful. You can just do that just by being present and catching that you're appreciating something. This ice cream, yum, that's good.
So when you have to go to a business meeting, or you have to work with co-workers for a day, create an image of joy, laughter, celebration, and let that image play, because there's no time and space. It's an energy, and everyone will be lifted.
And I got one for you because we have the children in Dreamtime and we have like the Gerber baby one. I got the one where it was a couple weeks ago. I went to fix your little Dickie.
Oh, yeah. No, not that, Dickie. Okay.
Not that Dickie. And it's like, and then I grabbed your little neck there a little bit and you're like, ow. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
By the way, that was on the air.
And once you can go back to a couple and I can still laugh on that one because you were like, ow.
Yes.
You cracked up. So like maybe people should have a laugh-thon or something.
Oh, there's a group in England
Oh, somebody doing that?
who does workshops and trainings in laughter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And to walk in to the workshop, you have to laugh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's a little donation economically, but also you have to laugh or they don't let you in.
This would be called a laugh play shop. I put workshop, like, no, there's no work there, laugh play shop. But maybe it is work though, sometimes
Yeah,
we're
but
so
that's
serious.
cooler.
Play shop.
But yeah, I like it. But it is work because some people, like the man I mentioned to you, he didn't know how to laugh. He was told, by the way, and I'm not telling a secret, he was told by his father, if you laugh, people are going to beat you up.
And how many of us have those stories from like wherever they came from, and it may have just been not even a serious person saying something to you. My sister said to me one time, those watermelon seeds you eat, you're going to grow them inside of you. I'm like, no. I was, 7 or whatever. You don't know when your big sister says that to you.
Yeah,
You believe her,
right, right.
And then my cousin and sister would do, they were horrible. I love them, but they were horrible. Here, ketchup, mayonnaise, all this stuff. Here, drink this. It's good for you. I'm like, no, it's good for you. I'm like, no. I can still remember that.
I could tell you a similar story, but it's not for broadcast.
Okay. But our point is like get together and reminisce and laugh on some stuff and then take it home.
And all the things you did as a kid. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Things you did as a kid. It was just experimenting with discovering what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what is your body. And if you take that into your adulthood, your 5 senses will always be activated.
Right, and even in your workshops, you do 6 and 7 sense.
Oh, yes.
And so, clearly you're still here because you're way ahead of your time.
And sometimes I think, "Oh, I'm ready to take a nap."
You've said that too.
And I do. I'll take a nap. Lasts about 7 minutes.
But it's easy for us to get deflated and get frustrated, especially with what we've been experiencing this last year or so. It really is. So be gentle on yourself.
And part of the gentleness is, if you want to take a nap, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter. Take the nap.
We're all creating a new flow, and it's different. And so
A
we
new
need,
flow
we
of
need to
energy.
rest, and then
Yep.
you move forward, then you rest a little bit,
Yep.
then you rest some more. You might not move forward for a bit. But it's not necessary to move forward in the old way.
Exactly.
And that's the magic that we're wanting to really encourage you to explore more, because it's not an F-14 process as much as
true,
it used
true,
to
true.
be. F-14 is not always so necessary.
You see, F-14, I have no idea what that means.
Effort,
Oh.
I just made it a word that didn't sound good. You don't have to apply so much effort these days. Like shopping at Jacques Penney.
Yeah.
RuPaul made that sound so cool. Oh, shopping at Jacques Penney. There's some more laughter. Get that laughter going. But don't be cruel about your laughter. Don't laugh.
That's a good point.
Don't laugh at people. That's like
That's a good point.
that's being like a bully. Misery on the account of other people. That's sadistic. We're not talking about that. Are you ticklish?
Not really.
No. When George and I first got together, he could do his little fingers like that, go and like, oh, stop! I'm gonna pee my pants.
And I tickle you just because of that.
I know you are. Somebody said sadistic. Being sadistic's not great, but sometimes it is with friends. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. The most important thing is, as serious as you believe your life is, someone in the spirit world is looking and saying, oh, he or she is a crack up.
Take yourself seriously, but then take yourself out to lunch too.
Exactly.
Take a break.
Yes.
How's our time? Is it time? Oh yeah, we start a little bit after, and there we go after. I'm gonna come around this way and give you a hug because we always like to hug. Look at our pants. We're matching pants and shirt. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I love you. Okay, happy date, everybody.
Thank you, Mitch, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
As long as the gods remember to make it next week.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Yeah.